Hey, folks, I'm Craig Lipinski.
I'm Seth Castellum.
And I'm Chris Dunn.
And you're listening to Episode 2 of Ludowave Radio, the sweet, sweet sounds of video game talk.
Mm-mm.
No, you don't like that intro?
It was just the video game talk.
It's sweet, sweet video game. We're the Rush Limbaugh video games.
That was my girlfriend's least favorite part of. She said the podcast sounded great until we started talking about video games, and then it was just like unlistenable.
Well, to her, in her defense, that was usually about an hour and a half into the podcast.
All right, so it was good for an hour and a half then.
Yeah. No, we did all right. So it's been 2 weeks because we switched to a bi-weekly format. The past 2 weeks for me have been very, very busy. My ferret is dying, so that's.
Oh no!
Yeah, they do that apparently. No one informed me that when I bought him. So he's
that sucks. I'm sorry, Craig.
I appreciate that. He's 8.5 though. Which is very old for ferrets. He's a geriatric ferret, and he has terminal cancer. So, and I hear old age is terminal too. So he's just getting double whammied there, and it's expensive to keep him alive, and he's sort of like degrading in slow mo now.
Right.
So I think that we're gonna end up putting him down because it's just it's expensive and his quality of life isn't improving. It's getting worse but slower now.
Right. No matter what you do, you're probably not going to cure his old age anyway. So.
No.
Eventually he's just going to continue to get worse. So I hear you.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Personally, I think you're a monster for not spending thousands of dollars of saving this longer rat.
It's actually by the time we put it by the time we put him down, it will be about $1,000. So yeah, a little pricey. I don't want to put a price on his life. If it was 5 years ago, maybe we'd be having a different discussion. But he's 8.5, so. He's had a good life, and I'm just trying to convince myself it's okay, more or less, with this kind of conversation, you know.
All right.
But on to better news. I got engaged in the past 2 weeks.
That happened.
It did.
That's pretty exciting.
It is. It is pretty exciting. Megan and I have been together for 3.5 years, and she's pretty great. And I kind of want to keep that train rolling. So.
Only pretty great. I don't know. I don't know if that sounds like marriage material.
You don't sound committed, Craig.
Well, I'm just leaving the options open for her, not for me. I'm not going to do any better.
What was a harder decision? Deciding to marry Megan or deciding to put your ferret down?
My parrot.
Parrots and ferrets are two different things, Seth. You may not be aware of this.
It just depends on what region of the world they're in. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure it's the same animal.
Putting down my ferret is a much harder decision.
Okay.
But
then that means you love her? Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
All right, well, good luck with that, Craig.
Hey,
so
thanks.
we're very sorry you have to put your ferret down, and we're not sorry that you're getting engaged.
That's a very bittersweet 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, I would say.
But how are you, Seth?
Well, first of all, I just want to say on the bright side, you got that ferret sympathy going for you, so I'm sure she definitely said yes. No, I'm all right. Honestly, there hasn't been much going on in my life. I've just been out there gardening and stuff. So I planted seeds, bought a bunch of already sprouted plants from like a nursery and stuff, and that had been started in the garden. But then I'm going like straight to seeds now. I'm like a Johnny Appleseed over here, planting shit in the ground.
Seeds are very difficult in my experience. Did you like germinate them like indoors and then transfer them?
Nah, just threw those shit straight
right in the fucking ground.
Right in the goddamn ground.
Yeah.
They all sprouted. Everything sprouted, so we're good.
Oh, nice. With that sweet, sweet California weather. It's it's a little more challenging here in New England.
I was like reading the directions on the back of the seeds, and it's like after first frost. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What does this mean?
The fuck is frost?
Oh man,
throw this in the ground.
We didn't do a porch garden this year, and thank goodness, because our spring has been crazy. We've had 95-degree days, and then we've had like 50-degree days this spring. Like it's been bonkers. It was like 60 degrees today.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's crazy hot here today. Like today's our first really hot day in about a week, and I am sweating my balls off to record this podcast, Craig. I don't have your AC like you got going.
Why? How do you live in California and not have an air conditioner?
No, there's one in the house. It's just not turned on right now.
It's not for you. It's for the grown-ups.
Yeah. I'm allowed 5 minutes of air conditioning a day. Okay?
It's rationed out. I understand.
I used my portion right when I got home.
Well, good.
No, so that's it for me.
Good luck with your garden. I wish you
absolutely.
Luck.
Yeah, good luck. I have literally never tried to grow anything, and I really don't want to start now because I don't think it would go well.
Well, you tried to grow a beard, and we all saw how that went.
Exactly. You're furthering my point right here.
What have you been up to, Chris?
Not a whole lot. It's actually been really hot here. I live in Wisconsin, but it was like 85 today, so I'm really not going to complain about that. I'm in the basement right now, so it's not too bad where I am. No air conditioning, but I'm making do.
Does Jackie banish you down there for the podcast?
Well, the dog barks all the time, which you can kind of still hear, but at least it's subdued a little bit going through the floor. So,
right.
She doesn't exactly banish me. It was more my choice. You know, I don't want her to have to listen to this. Come on, it's not exactly her jam.
Now, does she at least like the parts before the video game talk?
She doesn't listen to this. Are you kidding me? She has legitimately told me that she does not listen to this. Not that I ever thought she would, but she's made that very clear. Don't worry.
Tell her this episode's all about Disney collectibles.
That might get her into it, so I am not going to do that.
Megan did not listen to the previous incarnation of the podcast because it was like 2.5 hours. She's like, I'm not slugging through that, and you know, honestly, I can't blame her.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but even for me, 2.5 hours is a long fucking show. So I'm glad we have tried to be a little more understanding of our listeners' time in this new incarnation.
And honestly, at least 50% of us are not interesting enough to carry that much of a podcast.
There are
like
three of us. What is
that means half of us is.
You guys do the math. I'm not doing the math.
Halfway there.
What was up with the cave recording last episode?
Yeah, so to answer your question and to inform our listeners, the last episode sounded like we all recorded it in a tin trailer, and that's because I haven't.
Well,
used,
I did.
You did. Your voice quality is not great this episode, Chris. I don't know what's going on. Are you recording from Siberia? What's going on over there?
Oh, I'm still in the tin trailer.
It's like I'm in the basement. So I haven't used GarageBand in obviously years, and it turns out that reverb is turned on by default, and you don't. I didn't really hear it while I was editing, and so then I'm like, "Cool, this sounds good," and then I put it up there, and I listened to it, I'm like, "Oh no, I made a huge mistake."
I figured that's why Apple Podcasts wasn't letting us on there for so long.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts was like a huge hold. So last episode at the end, we're like, we're on Apple Podcasts and we're on Stitcher, and we absolutely weren't. That was a total lie. But the applications were in, so we're on those things now. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Play now. But yeah, Apple Podcasts took forever to let us on. Stitcher's like, sure, come on in, and Google Play had no problem. Sure, whatever. We allow any crap in the Google store. You're fine. But Apple's, I don't know what's going on with that. They took a while.
As long as we're on there now, so if anybody listens to that episode, it's true now. That's all that matters. Right?
It is true now, right? Exactly. I'm not a liar now. I was a liar then, though.
Yeah, that's okay.
I think so too. All right, gents, what do you say?
I didn't really talk about what I did this week, but I didn't do anything this week, so we can just move on.
Yeah, we didn't notice.
We didn't. Right?
God damn it! Why did I say anything?
He's like, I didn't do anything. Okay, cool. Let's rag on Chris for 5 minutes. That's fine. So we're going to talk about some video games then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, before an hour and a half, we're doing pretty good. We're doing. This is the best video game podcast
in the world.
In my living room.
The three of us are
in my living room. So in the past 2 weeks, I've been playing, of course, Overwatch, and the anniversary event wrapped up. And during events, they have event-themed loot. and this event had twice as much loot. And loot's purely cosmetic for those that don't know. The actual good DLC, characters, maps, and stuff, that's all free, and it's subsidized by chumps like me who pay for loot. And it's purely cosmetic. And loot during events is it's subject to the same RNG as it is when it's not in events. And this event had twice as much loot, and so with that, using that same RNG, like it was basically impossible to get the things that you want, particularly like gold loot, which the odds are already not in your favor. And I think people complained on like Blizzard's message boards or something, and they even addressed it. Like, yeah, I guess we kind of screwed up this time. It's like, yeah, no shit.
So did you get any good sweet costumes or dances or anything, Craig?
Horse armor?
I actually had to spend my in-game currency to get those because I got Genji's Super Sentai skin.
I'm sorry, did you say Super Hentai?
I did. He's just a big dong flopping around.
Pixelated, blurred out.
Blurred out, right? Exactly. It's just a mosaic dong flopping through the air. I got that through pulls, but I was getting dupes, and that's one thing that like really irritates me because. When you get a loot box, when you level up, you get a loot box. There's 4 pieces of loot during events. One of them is guaranteed to be part of the event, but no more than that. And you can get duplicates, which is very I got one event item. Oh, it's something I already have, which is.
Could you trade them off or anything, or re-roll them? I don't know.
No. You get currency when you get a duplicate, and you can use the currency then to directly buy the loot that you want. The problem is that the currency, the amount that you get for a duplicate is like a fifth of what it costs. So if a spray costs 25 coins, you get 5 coins for a spray, for a duplicate spray. And they jack up event items or triple the cost of their non-event counterparts. So like Genji's Super Sentai skin is a legendary skin. A legendary skin is normally 1,000 coins. That's 3,000 coins for that skin.
Holy shit.
Right. They really ring you into, purchasing those loot boxes with real money. And I do it. Most of the events I got no problem with it because they give me the good stuff for free. I get a lot out of the game. People can call me a sucker. They might be right. That's fine. I know what I'm getting myself into. But even then, even when I paid for loot boxes, I didn't get very much. I had to spend these coins that I've been hoarding towards the stuff that I wanted. I got like no coins. I got nothing left.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's
worth it to be a Power Ranger, right?
Right, exactly. Now, this is a really stupid gripe. I know that it is. It's just when you're really into the game, like your skins and your dances and those emotes are sort of like they're sort of like a status symbol, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it's just frustrating not getting those things, despite the fact I bought 24 loot boxes and probably earned another, I don't know, at least 15 or 20 on my own, and just kept getting duplicates and stuff. And it's like, what the fuck?
But you're not going to do anything about it, are you? You're not going to complain to Blizzard
I'm going to host a podcast and bitch about it like a little crybaby. That's what I'm going to do. This is
perfect.
This is hashtag the resistance. This is what's going on.
I'm sure Blizzard employees are all just listening to this and taking everything you're saying to heart.
Yeah, they're scared. They're scared. I also played more Horizon Zero Dawn, but I haven't. There's nothing really much more to say that I haven't said last episode. It's a good game, and I like it. I played the demo for Miitopia, which is on the US 3DS eShop. Have you guys tried the demo for Miitopia?
I did not know it was up now.
Not yet, no.
It is, and it's extraordinarily boring. It's very boring.
Oh no!
I didn't try it then.
Well, you still get. Did either of you play Tomodachi Life?
Also, no.
I played the demo of that.
Okay, so it's a lot like that in the sense that you put Miis into this RPG. Tomodachi Life is more of like a life simulator. It's more like The Sims, but Miitopia is an RPG. You put you and your friends into it. You give them personalities, and it's a lot of it's actually hands off. There's a very rudimentary combat system, but a lot of it's actually random and hands off, and you just sort of watch these interactions. And it's sort of like quirky and fun and charming, but also not a lot's happening. And I'm not sure how much this costs. It's a retail game. I don't know if it's 30 or 40, but I'm not one to usually take cost and say, well, this is worth less because its cost is too high and the gameplay is not there. But it's just it's not a lot happening in that game.
I'm surprised the game even got brought over, because when I was first seeing it, like when it was released in Japan, I did not think that was something that Nintendo would even be interested in bringing and localizing.
Well, you could say the same thing about Tomodachi Life, but they brought that out here.
That's true.
That's true.
I think they're just trying to. I mean, they're really putting in a lot of effort in giving the 3DS one last push, and if it didn't cost them a lot to localize. I mean, it's just another thing on the store shelf to say, look what we got out here. There's another reason to buy a 3DS. So if they sell 3DSs, or even just a few thousand units of that, maybe it's worth their while. I don't know. But it's cute. Like, in some ways, it hits some right notes, but it's just there's not enough of it there. That's the impression I get from the demo. Now, it's a demo, but the save data from the demo transfers to the full game. So I would guess that this is the beginning of the game. Like, this is actually the game.
Right, that would make sense.
For the NPCs, it pulls random Miis. I don't know if it pulls them from yours, but it's not pulling like, Corey or Ashley. Like, it's pulling like Miis that are like brand name Miis. Like, these are like, it's like people who made Miis. Like there's Hank Hill. Like some woman was complaining about a rambunctious child, and her rambunctious child was Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
Who even made that me?
I don't know. I have no idea. You can use one of the Miis to give the face to the antagonist, the Dark Lord, and I chose the Pringles man because he looked good.
This is the most interesting you've made this game sound.
Yeah, you're making me want to buy it now.
But that's the thing. Talking about it in this way is way more interesting than actually It takes these RPG elements that it takes these elements of RPGs and distills them down to like tedium. So it's button mashing A through dialogue that you can't skip through because everything's tied to animations. So you have to wait for the animations to play out while the dialogue is being spit up on the screen. And the combat, like I said, is very simple. I wish there was like more roles for people to play. Like, I have me, and I'm a cleric, and Megan's in the game, and she's a cook, and that's, interesting, I guess. But maybe if there was more sillier stuff, it might be more fun. But there's a fight. There's like a fighter. There's like a warrior. There's a mage. I guess it's basically a bard. There's a pop star. And I think that's just basically a bard, but
right.
I see what they're getting at, and I actually like what they're getting at because I think Tomodachi Life did it well. A lot of people, was like, there's not enough game here in Tomodachi Life, and they're right. There's not a lot of game there, but there's more variety to the scenarios in Tomodachi Life because in the end, you're just poking at this game. You're not really playing it. You're just sort of poking at it, and that was Tomodachi Life. But it had a lot of these different scenarios. It had rap battles and picnics and really funny things. It was fun for what it was. There's not enough of that in Miitopia, so I don't know. Of course, I have it pre-ordered anyway because it's the 3DS game, and this is what we're talking about.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah, no, I'm really terrible. I know this. I also played the demo for Ever Oasis. That's also up on the eShop, on 3DS eShop in the US.
And that one looks more promising.
It is actually. This is developed by Grezzo, which I don't think is developed like their own full freestanding game. I don't think Grezzo did the did Ocarina of Time,
the Zelda
Master.
ports.
Yeah, they did the Zelda ports, and they also did one of the Street Pass games. I want to say it's the Flower one, but I'm not sure. And I think basically like, Papa, can I do my own game now? And Nintendo's like, yes, son. And now we have Ever Oasis and.
Flower Town is my favorite Street Pass game, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, they did.
We already talked about your gardening stuff.
All right. Go ahead.
This game, it's an action RPG, and I feel like it could have come out any time between now and the last 15 years. and I don't say that as an insult. I'm saying that to sort of place it. You know, some form of this could have come out on the PS2. Some form of this could have come out on the PS3 or the DS. It's not particularly modern or forward thinking. It's not tied to an era, I don't think. But I do like it. It is good. That's why I want to use it as an insult. I just want to sort of frame it, set it up. You are the chief of this oasis, and you have to restore it to glory, and you do that by attracting new visitors and new residents. And as people reside in the town, they open up stores. So I guess everyone has. I guess this is the gig economy now. Everyone has an Etsy shop, and. That attracts more people. More stores attract more people, and they put you on quests to become residents of this town. And I don't know if it's only certain residents can be in a party with you when you go out to fight or not. But like you'll have all these different people, and they'll have different abilities, different combat abilities, or different like puzzle solving abilities. Like maybe someone makes healing items heal you more or something like that. But, I mean, the rest of it, you can just fill in the blanks with your imagination. It's a real-time action RPG beyond that. It's not. You go on quests, collect crap. It's not really remarkable, but it is solid.
And you have this pre-ordered.
Yeah, it's a 3DS game. It's a 3DS game. And that's about it. The only other game that I've been playing, and I'm not sure if all three of us can talk about this, is ARMS. Have you gentlemen? Did you guys play the test punch, or the full game came out today?
I got in like probably 20 minutes of the test punch before they closed the servers down. But I did play some, yeah.
Did you play?
I haven't played it yet because the first test punch was while I was in Connecticut, and then I missed the second one for some reason. But I do want to pick this up. I haven't yet, but I'm going to.
I like it. It is. I remember when they first showed it off. And I think a lot of people scoffed at it because it did not look like a full-featured game. It just looked like three characters just trading springy punches.
I was a scoffer for sure.
I was in between. Like I looked at it, I said, maybe this could go somewhere. But they pulled a Splatoon on us. They did not show the entirety of the game. They sort of piecemealed out details of the game before then going into timed demos. Just like Splatoon did. And it just, I think it made believers out of a lot of people. I think that style of unveiling the game made believers out of people. Maybe because most people went in with low expectations, and then it turned out there's a decent game in there, and that's all it took. But I played the test punch. The first rounds I played, the first test punch, was just basically people wildly throwing punches because nobody understood the game. just hurling them across the screen. But the game is actually surprisingly deep. Subsequent test punches were just people, knowing when to block, when to dodge, using different arms because you can customize different arms. They have different elements or different abilities or something. Man, I love it. That theme music, everything, everything about the game is just really, really fun. It reminds me a lot of Splatoon.
I love the way the party mode is set up. Where, for those who didn't play, I think it's 8 people or something that they put together in a lobby, but then it just breaks those people up into groups, and then the group that you're in could be playing like a completely different type of game that the other groups are playing. So you could be like playing target punches to see like who could hit the most targets that pop up in between, while some other people are doing 1 versus 1, and somebody else is like doing a 3-on-1 boss fight type thing, and then after like all those come in, then you go back into the lobby, and then it just sort of like splits you up again. And it's like just very fun and random, and you don't know what you're going to play, but all the games seemed like really fun.
Yeah, I actually like the visualization of the lobby too, where it shows everyone's player icon sort of bouncing between different matches. I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah.
A lot of the reviews have sort of criticized it for having a very basic single player mode. That doesn't really bother me. I think more and more games are leaning away from single player modes. They don't need it, and I feel like that's it's an antiquated criticism. I feel like with the success of games like League of Legends or Overwatch, I don't think it's really. I mean, honestly, the game might have been better off without it even in there. Maybe I don't know.
It's the Mario Kart team too, so that like multiplayer is on the forefront for them.
Right, exactly. So I guess maybe I come from a different school of thought, but I don't think we should imagine video games as having a single player and then branching out from there. If that's not what the game is, that's not what the game is. It's a multiplayer game.
Yeah, to be clear, you're not saying we don't need single-player games. Just that multiplayer games could be multiplayer games, and single-player games could be single-player games.
Right, exactly right. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if you can have Zelda as a single-player game with no multiplayer mode, why can't you have a multiplayer game without a single-player mode? I mean, I haven't played it yet, obviously, but this seems like the type of game that I would play primarily for the multiplayer. So, having not quite a full-featured single-player wouldn't really bother me necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great big loss. Although, I think you do have to play the single player through on on a particular difficulty to unlock online ranked matches, which is I don't like that shit. I don't like locking stuff out like that. But otherwise, this is a really cool game, and I'm glad that Nintendo's investing in, I don't know, hip IPs like this.
This one's kind of weird because like Splatoon just like bleeds coolness, but this one is like sort of, it's like nerdy and hip at the same time. I don't even know how to.
That's
like
true. Yeah, no, and it communicates that, I think, through the character designs.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has great character designs. You have this weird blob named Helix, and you have a giant mummy and a ramen girl. I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be picking this up this weekend, probably.
We'll have to.
Yeah, I probably will too. I wanted to pick it up today, although today was Jackie's last day of school, so we went out right after work, and obviously we had to do this right after. So I didn't have any time to pick it up today, but I want to very soon.
Yeah, we'll have to do some online matches.
Were you playing with the Joy-Cons or with a single controller?
I'm playing with the Joy. I'm playing in handheld mode, of course. So I'm not playing with motion, if that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking.
But I have heard people who have played with motion, and there's a few people on Twitter, and the most recent 8.4 play podcast, and there seems to be people coming around on the motion that they seem to like it. So I plan on giving it a shot, but I don't see that being the primary way that I play.
Right. I didn't have a lot of time to play. Like I said, I got in at the very end of the last test punch, and I couldn't find my whatever those things are that you slide onto the Joy-Cons for the
wrist straps.
Yeah, so I just played with the controller. So I'm interested to try out the motion controls for it.
Right on. Yeah, no, that's all I've been playing. How about you, Seth?
Fuck it, you always go to me first.
Your circle was lighting up because you were talking on Skype. So
all right. It's my fault. I've been playing Little Nightmares, which is it's like a 3D platformer that's really dark and spooky and twisted. You play as, I think it's a girl. I think it's a little girl in like a yellow rain jacket. You can't really see her face.
You sound very confident.
No, you can't really see her face. Like she's got like a Kenny thing going on where you can't, Kenny from South Park, where just like the hood of her rain jacket, of her yellow rain jacket's covering up a bunch of her face.
Maybe that androgyny is the point. Maybe that's
maybe.
Yeah.
I like it's basically it's a scared little kid. Who's just going through these nightmarish, hellish environments, and it's like a really basic platformer with like light puzzle elements. I think your only controls are like jumping, grabbing, running, and turning on and off a lighter. And the lighter, as far as I can tell, serves like no purpose in any of the puzzles, and you only use it to like light up dark environments. Like I said, it's like very dark and creepy. The game doesn't explain a whole lot. It's just sort of like a cold open where you're huddled in the dark in a very creepy metallic tunnel. Lots of dripping water and it's very minimal music too. It's mostly very quiet. It's very artsy. I knew nothing about this game going into it, by the way. I just bought it because Amazon recommended it to me, and I was like, yeah, that cover looks kind of cool.
It doesn't take much to push you over the edge.
I'm sorry, Mr.
That's the guy who doesn't like the demo and already pre-ordered the game.
Pre-order? Yeah, exactly.
I make no excuses. I know who I am.
It was cheap. It looked interesting from the cover, and it was really cheap. So I just said, why the hell not? Do you know what it reminds me of a lot is Limbo, except like a 3D, and it's not like it's like a sort of a fixed isometric perspective, which kind of sucks for a lot of the areas, because there's some areas where you're like walking on thin planks of wood or even just like thin staircases, and I've literally just like walked right off the fucking stage to my death because the camera angle is really stupid for some of this stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's definitely like got some gameplay problems that just should have been ironed out in a basic way, because it's got like a really interesting. I'm fairly sure that it's about child abuse or child neglect or something in there. I'm sure there's some sort of hidden message,
like Papa EO or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Who made this? Was it the same studio as Papa EO?
It's Tarsier Studio, which I've never heard of. Tarsier Studios.
Yeah.
I'm looking up what they've done right now, and apparently they did Little Big Planet 3.
Really?
Yeah. Because I didn't even know there was a Little Big Planet 3. They made it to 3 of those.
They made quite a few. This had sort of an ostentatious release too, because it had a physical package with a figurine, right?
Yeah, that's what made me get it. I saw that little figurine in the box, and I was like, all right, whatever. and it's published by Bandai Namco, which is weird too, because I didn't know that they did a lot of like smaller or indie game publishing, you know?
I think they did last gen, but far less this gen. You know, they did stuff like Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom, and they did weird shit like that last gen, but not so much this gen. This is a weird release all around, it seems like.
Yeah, this feels like a way smaller game than even any of those, you know? Yeah, it's very Limbo-ish, where lots of things will try to kill you. For example, in the first area of the game, there's this. Oh god, the character designs for like the bad guys are fucking horrifying. There's a picture. God, what's his name? Dr. Finkelstein from Nightmare Before Christmas? The dude in the wheelchair.
Yeah, let's go with that. That's his name. That's
okay. That's his name. It's sort of like his face, but wrapped up in bandages around his eyes, and then just a terrible mouth, like full of sharp teeth, and then like a regular sized torso, legs that are probably like literally, I don't know, a half a foot long. They're basically like a torso with feet on them, like a horrifying Kirby, and then these arms that are twice as long as his body. And you're tiny compared to everything. I'm sure that's a metaphor. And they're like, just even like compared to the furniture, the bad guy characters or whatever, you're just absolutely very, very small. And this dude, he is blind. He has the stuff wrapped around his eyes, but he can smell you and he could hear you. And when he's like coming after you, it's very scary. And it's hard to get past him because the game, like I said, the game doesn't explain a whole lot. So he was grabbing me just over and over again and presumably eating me or killing me. I have no idea, which sucked. And then there's like a 10-second load screen after each time you're grabbed too. So that's also not a great point of the game. I can't recommend this game too much.
Really? You don't care for it?
It's got interesting parts, and then it's just got like just some like major things holding it back.
Yeah.
The platforming is all done like on like furniture, like you could like pull out drawers and like climb up the knobs of the drawers or just up weird cages. It's a very dark and creepy game. But yeah, it's interesting enough to hold my attention, but maybe not everybody else's. I'm in the second area now, and the monster boss human child abuser, I have no idea what this story's about, is like a chef dude, a big fat chef guy who's walking around with a butcher knife, and I'm at a point where I'm just trying to avoid him right now.
It seems like there's more and more indie games along these lines where they have like a concept or an art style that's very attention grabbing. Because there's a lot of indies out there now, so you need something like that. But then you play the game, and maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but it's often unremarkable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the problem. Like everything's there except for like super solid gameplay, you know?
Right.
which
is the one thing that really matters.
Right, which
That's
is something you look for in a game.
Yeah. What else have I been playing? I played the story demo for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's really stupid. Like, like I know people have been.
I didn't know there was a story demo.
Oh yeah, it's up on. I think it's on both the Xbox One and PS4 stores.
What does
right
that
now.
mean? What's a story demo? Is this a series of? Do you actually fight?
You do fight. It's a demo of the story mode. I guess people have been like begging for a story mode in the Marvel vs. Capcom games forever.
Who the fuck are these people?
No, that was a mistake. It was a mistake to ask for that.
We've got to go back, Kate.
This is not what you want. I get like both the Capcom and the Marvel universes have bad guys who hate organic beings, being Ultron and Sigma on the Capcom side from the Marvel from the Mega Man X games. So they've merged into one being called Ultron Sigma or Sigma Ultron. I don't remember which order it is. And the story is literally just like waves of totally boring, unremarkable robot dudes, like fighting against the Marvel and Capcom characters, and then like after a cutscene, then you'll like go into one of the fights where you'll fight like two of these super easy fodder enemies, and then it goes back to another cutscene, and just like stupid stuff is happening, like really cheesy, pointless, uninteresting area. Maybe it needs a setup before this, but this story demo is really, really dumb. The gameplay is sort of like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where it's back to like 2 punches and 2 kicks. It's not just 3 button attacks and a launcher like it was for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But they've simplified the shit out of it. Like you could just literally mash away on light punch and go from like a standing combo to an air combo and then knocking them back down to the ground without. You don't even have to jump to get into the air combo or anything. Literally just you can mash light punch and it'll just do everything for you, which I'm not a fan of. You could still do all your like specials and everything though, but I don't know. I'm really not feeling this game story wise, cutscene wise, fighting wise, or anything.
Nothing I've seen from it, and nothing I've heard from people who have played it, has instilled great confidence in me.
Yeah, no, and I loved the first 2 Marvel vs. Capcom games. I wasn't too hot on 3, but I know a lot of people loved 3, but that wasn't my jam. But this one is really not doing anything to persuade me back into the game.
That's too bad, because I know a lot of people really love this series and wanted it to come back for so long, and now they're really trying to do it. They have the 3rd one, they have the 4th one now, and it seems like maybe it's not as good as as good as it used to be.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely not. It seems like a large step back.
That's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say, Seth, that you do not want to be taken for a ride?
I do not want to be taken for this ride. No. And it's like you guys have seen the new Dragon Ball fighting game, right? Dragon Ball Fighter Z or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you all sound so enthusiastic. Anyway, no, that game looks
Can't wait.
That game looks so much better. I was a huge DBZ nerd in junior high and high school. So.
I don't know anything about DBZ, but that game does look a lot better.
Yeah, it looks really good. So I think that's gonna probably replace a lot of people's hype as far as what fighting game they buy goes. Other than that, I've been playing a bunch of pinball because my brother-in-law got my sister a pinball machine for their anniversary.
Nice.
Yeah, they got a Jackbot, which I guess is the 3rd pinball table in the Pinbot series. It goes Pinbot, Bride of Pinbot, and then Jackbot. And it's really fun. I don't know how to talk about a pinball game.
I was just thinking that. He talked about
it. Did you tilt it?
Did what?
Did you tilt the machine?
I've only gotten to the port where it says warning and not a full tilt.
Okay. That is the extent of my knowledge about pinball.
Nice. It's a fun game. I'm going to leave it at that.
That works for the purposes of this podcast, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
What have you been up to, Chris?
I started playing Shantae and the Pirate's Curse on the 3DS. I know you guys aren't a big fan of the Shantae games, but I enjoyed the one on
I am.
Okay, just Craig then.
No, I think most of them have been crap. Pirate's Curse is okay, and Half Genie Hero is a little bit better.
Okay. I enjoyed the DSi one. I backed Half Genie Hero on Kickstarter, 3 years ago or whatever it was. But I never got around to actually playing Pirate's Curse. And I think I got it in a Humble Bundle or something. And I had it on my 3DS, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. It's a good looking game. It's definitely harkens back to that 16-bit style that all the Shantae games typically do. But I feel like there's just some little things that are just taking me out of it that I'm not enjoying about it. The save points I feel like could be more frequent, and I know that's like a dumb complaint because it's supposed to be an old school game and those are supposed to be hard and stuff like that is typical of that type of game. But when I finish a dungeon and then I go to the next dungeon and I'm trying to play through it and I die and I get sent back like halfway through the first dungeon, it's frustrating and it takes me out of it. I ended up putting the game down and not playing too much further of it. And I'll probably pick it back up at some point because, like I said, I was enjoying it. But stuff like that, I realize it's supposed to harken back to classic game style. But some of that stuff, I mean, we're in the modern era. I think it could be improved.
I'm not convinced that's the case. I'm not convinced that these design choices are intentional. I don't think that they're necessarily specifically engineered to like harken back to anything. I think they're probably more playtest issues because
and that's kind of how I feel about it. I understand that it's supposed to be a classic game as it were, but I think that stuff like that is not necessarily intentional as far as trying to make it feel like a classic game, and that sucks because I want to enjoy it, but that definitely takes me out of it.
Yeah, Half Genie Hero has situations where like they have like set pieces that go on too long, which a lot of games do because they'll build like this really cool scene and like, it really should be something that's over in 30 seconds, but it's too cool for that. So you're doing this stupid shit for 5 minutes. And if you die...
Are you talking about the Mermaid Factory, Craig?
Yeah. Yes, I am. And so I feel like when they're playtesting that, they're people that built the game. They know what they're doing, so they blast through it, whereas people who don't know what they're doing... they're going through this environment, this set piece, and they die, and they get sent back to the beginning of it, and you're like, well, fuck this, I want to do this again. I think both of those games had issues like that.
Yeah. I like Pirate's Curse a lot, though, because it doesn't have the dancing transformation, so there's no, like, pause to, like, change into a different form, so you could continue. Just everything's, like, instantaneous, you just, like, could do your double jump with the cannon jump and then float with your hat or whatever. It's just, it's much quicker.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I did like that about Pirate's Curse.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Pirate's Curse, even from people who aren't big fans of Shantae. I've heard it's better than the DSiWare game was. And so I definitely going to pick it back up. But I was playing it the other night, and I got like all the way through the first dungeon, and I moved on, and then I got sent back, and it happened a couple times, and it's like this just doesn't feel like good game design, and that was frustrating to me. I also thought it was strange that like the character portraits have 3D boobs. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but
yes, yeah, absolutely.
That was a little weird to me. Made me a little uncomfortable, but thought it worth pointing out at least. The other thing I've been playing. Sorry, if you guys have anything?
I was just gonna say that Matt Bozon really likes his like cartoony boob cleavage.
There's a lot of cleavage in these games. Like everyone, one just knows how to. No, there's no modesty whatsoever in these games.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's in the character portraits, it's in like statues in the background and shit. It's like I don't know. It just seems. I liked it, 10 years ago or whatever, and now I'm like, I don't know. This just makes me uncomfortable.
Half Genie Hero has this giant, like, boobzilla mermaid or whatever.
I like that they poke fun of it a bit. In Half Genie Hero, there's, like, a little kid in the main town, and he says to Shantae something like, "Are you Medusa? Because my mom says not to look at you," or something like that.
I must have missed that.
At least that, pokes fun at it and makes it interesting. It's not just gratuitous, which this kind of feels like to me when you have the 3D character portraits. I mean, I like the idea of having 3D character portraits, and taking advantage of the 3DS's hardware, but I don't know. It just feels weird to me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely noticeable.
Okay. Glad it's not just me.
Yeah.
The other thing I played this week was Box Boy for 3DS. I think you guys are both fans of the Box Boy games, right?
Heck yeah.
You guys got that? You guys got the Amiibo?
Yeah, but I've only played through the first game. I haven't played the second two.
Okay. Yeah, I played the first one, last year or whatever. I picked up the second one because it was on sale for E3 this week, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, obviously the gameplay is very similar to the first game, where you're a little box-shaped boy. Shocking, I know.
What?
And you can create basically Tetris pieces that you can use to do different things. You can create 1 box or 2 boxes or 3 boxes and use it as a bridge or to push switches or to reach out of reach areas. And in Box Boy 2, or Box Boy rather, you can create 2 sets of boxes. So the puzzles get more complex. You can create a bridge and also have to push a switch, or it adds an extra level of complexity, which I think is cool. And it seems to me, as being the second game in the series, there's less tutorial at the beginning, which I like because I haven't played a ton of it yet, but I'm already finding some trouble in it. Have you played the second game, Craig?
I have not. I just bought that amiibo. That's what. There's games. There's games that go with that amiibo.
All right.
I got to give it to Hal for just making this small little series because I love puzzle platformers, and I don't think that they're actually probably on Steam or something. There's a lot of them, but as far as like on handhelds and consoles and stuff like that, I could definitely use more puzzle platformers in my life. And Box Boys definitely has like a super solid foundation.
Yeah, definitely. It's got a really cool style too. I mean, it kind of harkens back to when they created Kirby, and you've seen those graphics of Kirby. Just they draw a circle and put a smile on it, and it's Kirby. And This is just literally a box with eyes and feet. Although you can collect costumes and give them.
You're just convincing me that Hal. You're just convincing me that Hal's really lazy as far as character design goes.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that though. I mean, they're good-looking games, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really digging this game. I played the first one, and I mean, I didn't feel an urge to play the next one immediately. But since I picked this one up, I'm really digging it. You guys should probably check them out, I would say. But
absolutely, I'm going to.
That's it for me.
Well, I bought them. I own them, like digitally in the U.S. and the Japanese physical release. I finished the first one. I like the first one. I just haven't gotten around to playing the others yet.
Yeah, the first one's really good, and like I said, I'm only early in the second one, but I'm digging it so far. But that's it for me this week. So shall we move into news?
Let's do some news.
All right. I don't know if you guys heard, but E3 happened this week.
It
Shit,
did.
was that this week?
I figured we could go through, each of the big publisher press conferences. We could start with EA if you guys want to, but I don't have a whole lot to say about them.
I have nothing to say about them.
What was with all the awkward YouTube personalities in that press conference that I don't know. It was not a great conference.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. And there's a broader discussion I think about this, but a lot of younger folks are getting information and entertainment directly from YouTubers like this. But I don't think random YouTubers are, and sometimes even myself included maybe, are necessarily equipped at entertaining outside of their tunnel. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of these folks aren't necessarily super articulate. I'm not naming names. This is not directed at any one person. It's just that average Joes they're average. You know what I mean? You're not getting someone who is a presenter necessarily. You're not getting someone that is super articulate. You get someone who's just going, "This is cool. This is cool. This sucks. This is cool." And I stopped watching YouTube videos. Nobody knows how to talk about shit that's in a way that's at all engaging, I think, anymore.
And for me, for someone who's never been huge on these YouTube people, I just don't know who these people are. It's just some random guy fumbling through his lines in his press conference.
I don't even know who a lot of these people are either.
So I don't know. We'll see if that works out for EA as far as that goes.
Cool.
And I sort of like the Star Wars game that they showed.
Well,
That's all
that's a point for EA then. Sort of like in the Star Wars game. That's a point for EA. We'll count that. We'll count.
All right.
All right. The next one was Ubisoft, which I got a couple things here we can talk about. Far Cry 5, which we talked a little bit about last week. Having this American cult as kind of the enemies, and there's been a bit of controversy around that. It sounds like they've worked with experts to try to make this unique and not just what people think it is, which I think is cool. And as far as the gameplay, it looks to me like just traditional Far Cry, but I haven't played a ton of Far Cry. So, do you want to talk a little bit about that, Craig?
I put it on this. I put it on the list, but I don't really have much more to say other than I think it looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking to fuck up a cult. I'm into that. Let's do it.
Sounds cool. Seth?
Yeah, I'm not playing this game.
Tell us how you really feel.
I haven't played it. I like last episode when Chris said he had never played any Far Cry games. I just wanted to bag on him. I haven't either, though. So
I think it looks cool. I mean, I might check it out, but yeah, I don't have a ton of experience about it with the series, so there's not a whole lot for me to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never played it, and this game's not doing anything to like make me want to change that.
That sounds like a Ubisoft game. That's perfectly fine.
Hey, that's not true. That Mario versus Rabbids, I'm sure we'll get to that, but
good point.
That's doing stuff to make me want to play it.
Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
we'll talk about that when we get to Nintendo.
Okay.
They did show a trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, which looks different from what they showed, like, was it 10 years ago or whatever?
I think it was like 2008. So
yeah, it was a long time ago.
I'm convinced it's just a series of animated movies. I'm not even sure there's a game.
Yeah, I mean, they said this is super early in development, so I mean, we'll see if and when this ever comes out.
The last 10 years? I don't even understand.
Especially since Michel Ancel is all like, "Oh no, we're working on it. It's coming. We're working on it. It's coming," and it's like, "Oh no, we're at day zero in development. So what the hell are you doing?" Like, I don't know. I sort of like the trailer though. It reminded me like a Guy Ritchie and a Luc Besson movie, like mashed up together.
It did. It looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a cool trailer, but like it's hard to know how the game is going to turn out,
Well, apparently there was gameplay behind closed doors, like really early alpha gameplay, and they described, being in a city and going to like orbit seamlessly.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
That's cool to me, yeah.
They were describing the day-night cycle, like Michelle was fast forwarding and rewinding through time. And, it sort of looked unremarkable, but then he explained, no, the planets are actually rotating. Like, you're actually seeing a real sunset right now. We're not just moving assets. Like, it's the planets are actually rotating, which I don't know why. That seems excessive that they're building. But really, really cool at the same time. I don't know what I don't know how that goes into Beyond Good and Evil, but all right. That's cool.
Yeah, I know this was rumored at one point to be Switch exclusive or Switch timed exclusive. I don't think that's the case based on this trailer.
Nah.
So it's probably PS4, assuming it comes out anytime soon. PS4 and Xbox One. But story-wise, it's supposed to be a prequel to the original Beyond Good and Evil. Taking place generations before, which I don't know. I mean, I feel like, knowing those characters from Beyond Good and Evil, that's what people want to see in a sequel. So, I mean, if this is obviously this is super ambitious, and I hope it turns out well enough to make people interested. But, going from what Beyond Good and Evil was, changing, the gameplay completely and changing the story completely, I don't know how excited that's going to get people.
No. Hold on a second. In all fairness, a number of people who are going to be playing Beyond Good and Evil 2 by the time it comes out will not have been alive when the first one came out.
That is a completely fair point.
I hope it turns out well. We'll see in a few years.
Yeah. Until they revamp it and show a new trailer or animated movie, rather.
Right.
I think we'll touch on Mario and Rabbids when we get to Nintendo, because I think we're all big Nintendo fans. We might as well kind of group that stuff together, if that's okay with you guys.
Good plan.
Absolutely.
So for Microsoft, we saw BioWare's new game Anthem which is a post-apocalyptic jungle thing with giant monsters. That sounds cool.
I like the look of it. It's supposedly along the lines of like Destiny or something.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I can't stand the fake game party chat that they do.
I
during
hate that
things.
shit. Nobody talks like that. Come on.
Oh, there's a bad guy at 12 o'clock. Do you want to crack through and beat some skulls? I'm like, what? Who's talking like that to each other?
And everyone says it so dispassionately. Yeah, got him. Bogey down.
Yeah. I think it's because they went the exact opposite. When they used to first do these things, they'd be like super excited, like way too excited, and it's like, no, that's like not happy. And so then they like took it the exact opposite direction, and now everybody's just like talking all super dispassionately, and then no, that's not right either.
There's got to be a middle ground somewhere, right?
Somewhere in there. It's mostly going to be like, oh, this fucking dude keeps biting my leg. Where the fuck are you? Where are you? And that's
right. Yes. That's how these sorts of games go. Where the fuck is my team?
Exactly.
The game.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think of the game, though, Seth?
Honestly, it looked like just too like generic group shooter for me. Like the environments were cool. They're obviously like it's very graphically impressive, and it's the environments are cool and everything. But I think when it comes down to it, just like another group shooter where everybody's getting together and shooting things, which is fine. But I tend to get bored of those games like fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think it looks very cool, but I don't tend to get into multiplayer games as much. So I'll probably give Destiny a shot before I give this a shot, but we'll see. They also showed Crackdown 3, which I think looks pretty sweet. I was a big fan of the first Crackdown, as I think a lot of people were. It's changed from when they first showed it. It's not always online anymore, so they don't have the destructible environments in the single player. But it definitely goes back to the way the first Crackdown was, and that's exciting to me. What do you guys think?
You go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, so I added this to the list because my feelings were the exact opposite. That I was a huge fan of both Crackdown 1 and 2, and I just feel like too much time has elapsed from those games, and not just from those games, from the time Microsoft announced Crackdown 3 for me to care, and it doesn't look like there's enough new stuff here to change my mind about that. And it's unfortunate because if this game came out in a timely fashion, maybe my Xbox One would not be disconnected, but I don't think there's enough. Terry Crews is not enough for me to hook my Xbox back up. It looks like Crackdown 2, which may not be a bad thing, but it's not enough for me.
Yeah, I think to me it looks super cool, but I don't own an Xbox One, and I'm probably not going to be buying one. I don't think. So I mean, I think it looks cool, and I would love to play it, but I'm probably not going to, unfortunately.
I like the first game a lot, and I did not see this trailer.
You're not missing anything.
Okay.
All right. There you go. They also announced that they're making a new Xbox. They had announced Scorpio before, but this is going to be the Xbox One X coming this
What the fuck are they doing with these
November?
names?
Especially considering they already have an Xbox One S, and those two names sound remarkably similar, despite
they do.
that they are very different machines. Some poor kid is going to ask for an Xbox One X for Christmas and get an S and be super butthurt.
Yep.
My favorite is when I saw somebody typing it like those gamer tags where it's like little X and then big X and Xbox One X and then another little X at the end. And that's a dumb name. They should have stuck with Scorpio. Scorpio stood out.
Scorpio's a cool name.
Exactly.
I think the whole machine is stupid.
Well, it's basically a PS4 Pro, right?
I think it's actually there's a little more oomph to it than that. But
right.
I think that who are these machines for? Who's buying this?
Do you not have a PS4 Pro, Craig?
I do not. And why is
neither.
Kinect not in the box? I don't understand. I thought Kinect was vital to the future of Microsoft.
No, that has been not the case for a while, Craig.
Why the fuck did they make me buy one then?
Because it was at the
you're
time.
a sucker.
It was vital to the future when you bought it, but now it's not vital to the future now that it is the future, Craig. We got to the future because the Kinect existed. We should all be thanking it.
I subsidized the development of the Scorpio.
You're
did.
an early adopter, Craig.
I
early
did it.
adopters get hosed.
I did it. Yeah, no, it's just weird to get hosed for $100 camera that, I don't understand that, but but again, I don't know who this machine is for. I really don't understand it. I mean, are there really the people who have 4K TVs? Is there really that many of them? I don't think so.
I'm sure it's growing. It might just be a future-proof thing, depending on how long they want to keep these generations going.
That might be the case. I mean, that's a fair point, but I also think I'm skeptical because every TV fad that's popped up since just regular old HD has failed because nobody. I mean, you look at the history of TVs. We got color TV in what, like the 60s, the 70s, and then fucking nothing until HD. It was like 30 years.
Right.
And now and then every 3 years it seems like they want to cram something new down our throats because we got the suckers to buy 1080p. Let's see, maybe they want 3D, maybe they want curved screens, maybe they want maybe they want their Netflix built in, and it seems like every couple of years there's some other shit on these TVs they want us to buy. And I guess that alone makes me skeptical. It's like, guys, I've had the same Samsung Plasma for 10 years. You know what? If you really want me to buy a new TV, you should have made it shittier so it broke, and I had to buy a new one.
Also, no,
I have a. Go ahead.
I will fight you, Chris. No,
I
I'm
don't
not.
want to fight. Go ahead, Seth.
I'm not paying $500 for a video game console. It's just not something I'm into.
I already did, but mine came with a camera.
Was the
4K?
Yeah, is it 4K, Craig?
It is not 4K, but my Samsung Plasma that's 10 years old only does 720p anyway, so I'm not concerned.
All right.
Yeah. I have a 60-inch LED, 1080p, whatever fucking TV, and it looks fine. It looks good. I don't think it looks, the HD is plenty fine for me, and, I don't think I'm old, but maybe my eyes are getting old. I don't know.
I mean, once I'm in the market for a new TV, I might consider 4K, but what would I watch on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably buy a 4K the next time I get a TV, but to me, I'm not eager. I'm not chomping at the bit to get one.
No.
Your Ultra HD Blu-rays?
Your Crackdown 3 on your Xbox.
That sweet, sweet 4K content.
Yeah. I guess let's move on to Sony. I don't think there's a whole lot.
Absolutely.
Monster Hunter World. One of you guys talk about Monster Hunter World. I've never played Monster Hunter.
The monsters just kick my ass over and over, and then I get frustrated and stop playing them after about 10 hours.
I'm going to preface this by saying I think Monster Hunter World looks really cool. It does some things differently from traditional Monster Hunters. There's a little more focus on stealth. Looks like there's a little bit more action-y elements.
There's a grappling hook, right?
There's a grappling hook. You can jump
Right.
on monsters.
All right, then I'm in.
Well, I mean, you could already jump on monsters. That's already been established. But
Yeah, it's been there since 4, I think.
yes, and you don't forage for items. You just walk over them and you pick them up. And there's no time limit when you go out on a mission. It just drops you in, and you can when you complete your hunt, it's not necessarily over. There's no time limit. There's no quest complete. I think you have to initiate that yourself, which encourages exploration and poking at other things. So I think it looks cool. But on the other hand, I'm just sort of really frustrated with Capcom lately. I feel like I don't know what they're doing. I feel like Capcom's audience is on Nintendo systems, and Capcom doesn't want to admit to that. And I'm not sure. I don't think it's personal. I don't want to personalize it. It's obviously it's business, but if it's business, it makes me wonder. Well, if the people who buy your games are on Nintendo systems, why aren't you putting them there? And I wonder if it's an image thing. If they're, if you go all the way back, you go back to Resident Evil Revelations, right? Resident Evil Revelations sold 500,000 copies on the 3DS. And then it released on Xbox One, PS4, Wii U, and PC. And on those 4 platforms combined, sold about 1 million copies. So 3DS was the best-selling platform. But 3DS did not get Resident Evil Revelations 2. Vita did, of all fucking systems, but the 3DS didn't. Mega Man Legacy Collection, I could have sworn I read somewhere at one point that it sold the best on 3DS, maybe not like 2-to-1 like the 3DS version of Resident Evil Revelations did, but I couldn't find that article. It's probably fair to assume it sold competitively on the 3DS.
Right.
Why are Nintendo systems not getting Legacy Collection 2? Why are they not getting Disney Afternoon?
Yeah, that's bananas because that's like right in the target demographic. You can't even argue with those two games.
I don't want to come across as like a whiny Nintendo fanboy. I really think that this is, I'm not. Why isn't GTA 5 coming to the Switch? I know why it's not coming to the Switch. Why is Disney Afternoon not coming to the Switch? That's the audience is there. I'm not firing up my $400 PS4 and my 55-inch TV, sucking down all this electricity to play fucking Tailspin. That doesn't make any sense. That should be on my Switch. It doesn't make any sense. So, and then you look at Monster Hunter, and like I said, the game looks great, and I will probably get it. I don't understand why Capcom does not seem to want to accept the fact that Nintendo fans like their systems, like their games. They buy their games. That's where a good chunk of their audience is. I mean, I'm not saying
especially Mega Man and Disney games,
right? Yeah. And I'm not saying, and it's arguable that Nintendo systems made Monster Hunter popular in the West or helped it become popular in the West. I mean, it was on PSP; it had a very dedicated cult following, but I would say that it became much more popular in the West on Nintendo systems.
That's the first time I played it.
So I don't understand what it is they're doing. It's almost like they want to be seen as, big boy publisher under big boy systems, and that's fine. I'm not saying
with a Disney collection.
With a Disney collection, which has already been on sale on the PS4 for the record. I don't get it, and I think I'm not miffed like from a personal perspective. I'm not like, I'm going to boycott Capcom. It's just like, as someone who would like to play these games on a handheld system, I don't understand. We passed your tests. We bought all your fucking games. Why can't we have the others? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's the thing that bothers me is that it's a handheld system. They're unlike, if you go back to like the GameCube versus PS2, like there's a direct benefit to consumers to having it on the Nintendo system. You can take it with you. Versus, if it's PS4 versus Xbox One, it's basically the same version.
Right.
So I would much rather have it on a Nintendo system, not just because it's Nintendo and I prefer playing on my Nintendo, but because I want to take it with me. So it sucks.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed with the way Capcom's been. Hey, guys, we got that $40 Street Fighter 2, though.
God damn
Lucky us. Didn't we get Street Fighter 2 on, oh no, that was probably Street Fighter 4, whatever it was.
We actually got the contemporaneous Street Fighter on the 3DS.
So we're even going backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
That's awful. Let's see, what else do we got from Sony? They showed off a Shadow of the Colossus remake. Well, showed off is kind of a loose term. They showed a trailer, which, wasn't really a lot of gameplay, but it looks to be, from what they've said, it's largely the same game, just with updated assets, which is cool, I guess. But I thought that was a beautiful game initially, and I don't know that we necessarily need a remake.
No, I do. I thought it looked really pretty.
That's not to say I'm opposed to it, but I don't know. It seems unnecessary. And I say that as somebody who loves Shadow of the Colossus. I think we made that clear on the old podcast. I mean, you guys complained about the controls, and I didn't.
Oh, the controls are horseshit. They fixed that.
Craig. That's Craig. I'm the one who defended the controls. I said it should feel bad to climb up on a Colossus and not be able to control a horse correctly.
Fuck
oh, my God. See, yeah, the same content with updated controls. I don't want... If this game controls really well, I'm out.
I kind of like that they make it difficult. You're climbing up on a giant monster.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, you guys are masochists.
No, it's like the one point. It's the one game where like loose controls that you're not fully in control of like makes sense to me and heighten the experience. I don't want to be.
It's like you're making suggestions. Why don't you go over there? No, I'm going to drop off. Oh, okay,
I don't want to be fucking Spider-Man like climbing up. He's like just a kid. No, he's not a kid. Well, he's a teen with horror. No, wait, that's Eco. You're just a dude.
We're not making a case for realism in Shadow of the Colossus. Please don't.
I am.
Okay.
I am absolutely.
Right. Anyway, you guys enjoy your shitty controlled game, and I'll play Metopia.
All right, fine. I'll play that instead. That sounds much better.
No.
We got Destiny 2. There's beta coming this summer.
I don't know if anybody
Exclusive
but
content to PS4. Craig, take it away.
you're the only one who cares.
I just added it to the list because I thought it looked cool. It looks like Destiny. It doesn't look like anything new or different. Honestly, I almost feel like Destiny 2 could be an expansion to Destiny 1. It doesn't really seem like they're really doing anything dramatically different. And I was reading interviews actually on Kotaku. There's there's an antagonistic presence in the first game that referred to just as the darkness. And they literally owned up to the fact that, like, yeah, we have no idea what the fuck the darkness is.
I saw that interview.
And it's like,
awesome.
so if you're looking for answers, they said, like, no, we're not going to tell you what the darkness is in the second game. I'm like, what? I mean, the story in the first game is incoherent. It makes no sense. And Jason Schreier's done some great reporting on Kotaku about why that is. And that's because they just shredded that game up several times over and cobbled it back together. And the game makes no sense because of that. And so now we are playing Destiny 2 that looks a lot like an expansion. It's like the same enemies, because these were the expansions for Destiny 1. Like the enemy, like you have the races that already exist, and then one of them has like a campaign tied to it for the expansion, and that's what this looks like. And that's fine. I'm up for more Destiny, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem very imaginative.
Okay. I don't want to say I'm glad to hear that, but like when I was putting together some notes about the stuff we were going to talk about, I was like, okay, what's new about Destiny 2? And I, having not played the first game, I couldn't exactly figure it out.
Fucking nothing.
I'm glad it's not just me, even though I haven't played the game. There's some new DLC for Horizon coming. You going to check that out?
I plan on it, yeah. I hope to finish Horizon here in the next couple of weeks. I go on vacation the first week of July, and that's when I hope to jump back in. I hope to use that time to jump back into Yakuza 0, so I want to finish Horizon before that. And, yeah, I definitely want to check out this DLC. The game's good enough for me to want to do that, I guess.
Yeah, I think that what they showed of the DLC looks pretty cool to me, and I definitely still want to check this out. So I'll probably pick up the game in the next few weeks. I think I saw it on sale recently. So
yeah, it's $40. It's $40 right now.
Yeah, can't beat that. And then they ended their presentation with Spider-Man for PS4. It's not really for me, but what do you guys think about Spider-Man PS4?
I think it looks great. No, I think it looks great. And I know that obviously you're going to buy it no matter what, Chris. But I was excited by it. I liked the footage a lot. The fighting looked very Arkham-ish. I mean, to be fair, when I was like playing the Batman Arkham games, I was like, feels very Spider-Man-ish. So I think it's just come full circle as far as like hiding up in corners and pulling people up with grappling hooks or webbing and all that. It's all very similar.
I think. Yeah, I thought it looked great, but at the same time, it did nothing for me.
I can see that.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, when I watched the trailer, I mean, I could see that it's definitely very reminiscent of the Arkham games. And then, the second half of the trailer is kind of Uncharted-y with a lot of set pieces, show him chasing a helicopter and stuff. So I could see why it wouldn't be exciting to people. You could see it maybe being derivative or being, unimaginative or something like that. But to me, I mean, as a Spider-Man fan, I think it looks cool. They're bringing in new characters and it just looks like a lot of fun. So I'm totally in for it.
Yeah, and I read that most of the game is open world, and then you just go into these like story-driven segments here and there throughout the game. So it's not just going to be all QTE presses and stuff like that. And apparently that was easier than the normal game, and there's like much more fail states throughout that whole thing that can happen, is what I read. And that was just all made really dumbed down and easy for the E3 demo. So I don't know. I mean, cool. It's a Spider-Man with a fucking competent developer on it. So
yeah, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm totally in. So I guess that brings us to Nintendo, which we got a whole hell of a lot to say here.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
We finally got some full gameplay footage of Mario plus Rabbids, which is kind of XCOM-y. And that's coming this summer. I think it's awesome that they're, trying to do like some Mario references, like, Luigi's got the vacuum, it's not just giving everybody lasers, which is kind of what the initial images looked like to me. But what do you guys think?
I think the crow population on the planet dropped by half once gameplay came out for this.
No kidding. I thought it was funny because in the leak, because this was, as I'm sure most people know, this was leaked well before E3. There was internal documentation that was leaked with it, and part of that documentation said that that Ubisoft has to convince gamers and media after E3. And I just remember a lot of people having a good laugh over that on Twitter. Because what are you gonna? You're not gonna convince us that this Mario Rabbids game is gonna be good. But man, they played us like a fucking fiddle. Like that, it looks good. It looks like they put a lot of effort into it. It looks good.
We the stupid screaming cosplay dressed up rabbits are a complete detriment, but the gameplay looks so good that you're just willing to put up with that bullshit.
Yeah, I still think that Rayman would have been better for the good guys, and then Rabbids for the bad. Because the Donkey Kong Rabbit looks cool. It's like a cool character design, but maybe that's fine for bad guys. But I think the good guys should have been Rayman characters.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, he's a cool design. I mean, the other ones are just, to me, basically just look like rabbits in costumes.
That's exactly what they are, Chris.
Yeah. You mean that's not Princess Peach as a rabbit?
It's very confusing.
You guys laugh, but I think you get my point. No. One is a cool design because it looks like a new character. It's not just in a Donkey Kong costume.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, this game looks cooler than I really expected it to be, even when all the images were leaking 2 weeks ago. So I ate a little bit of crow after our discussion last week. So
I hope the types of cover and stuff keeps everything fresh, because I could see if the entire game is just hiding behind the bricks, the giant Mario bricks and stuff like that, it could get old pretty fast. So hopefully there's a lot of diversity in the environments as you progress through the game.
Yeah, I believe in the leak they said there were going to be 4 different specific worlds you could visit. So hopefully even within those worlds there's some diversity, but at least we assume there's that much, since the leaks seem to have been true, everything we've seen.
All right. Oh, well, I hope it turns out good.
Yeah, looks cool. They showed off Skyrim for Switch, which was, of course, one of the first games we saw when the Switch was unveiled last year, which is obviously Skyrim with all of the expansions, and you can dress up as Link. I
like how they avoided showing off the Link character's face in that in the trailer, because you just got your derpy, ugly made Skyrim character dressed up as Link, and it probably did not look great.
Yeah, I saw some people saying on Twitter Link is playable, and it's no, it's not. It's not actually Link, guys.
Just his costumes and sword.
Yeah.
I'm into this. I played a few hours of Skyrim on the 360. There are reasons why I didn't go back to it. I impulse bought the game, and I just didn't have the time to go back to it. I liked it more than Oblivion, which was a snooze fest. So I'm excited to get back into it, and I feel like this is how you do, a 6-year-old port to underpowered Nintendo hardware. You do all the DLC. You put in a couple extra things. You contrast that with the Wii U, where they put Deus Ex and Mass Effect 3, at or around launch, and there's no incentive to buy those. Mass Effect 3 was a full price game, but for the same amount of money, you can get the Mass Effect trilogy on the competing platforms. So of course, no one fucking bought it. But this, yeah, it's an older game, and other people have it on other systems, but with the new between the new content, which is I guess just Zelda stuff really, but between that and the fact that it's portable, there's enough incentive here, I think, to buy this. I think that Bethesda did a good job in bringing this over.
Yeah, I think portability is just will be a selling factor on a lot of games that are even late ports,
Absolutely.
or even just games that are can have a simultaneous release. A lot of people are going to go for the Switch version just because they're going to be able to take it with them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I never played the original Skyrim, but it's such a beefy, long game that it seems to me having it portable will definitely, at least for me, give me a lot more time to put into it than having to commit, sitting in front of the TV. All right.
Absolutely.
We'll move on then. We know that Metroid Prime 4 is now in development for Nintendo Switch. It's not made by Retro, and that is all we know.
I am mad.
Are you guys excited about this?
I am mad at that announcement. I wanted footage. I was like, oh my god, Metroid Prime 4, here comes a video of it, and then no, it was just the goddamn logo.
They probably don't have enough that they actually want. I'm sure that something exists, but I don't think they have enough that they want to show. But I think they want to maintain the momentum they have for Switch. And to be fair, they have a lot of momentum right now. And I think they just want to say, by the way, we still have good shit coming next year too. And this does that, I think, even without the footage.
Do you know what? I read a really interesting point as well, and I don't remember who made it. It was just somebody on NeoGAF. But they said that by announcing the Switch version of the Switch game coming out, then that avoids a ton of backlash by them announcing that there's a 3DS game as well. If they announced only the 3DS game, like just everybody would be like, why the fuck isn't there a Switch game? Why are you making it on the 3DS? But since they announced the Switch version first, then that backlash does not happen.
That's probably true, but I think it also highlights the fact that Metroid fans are ungrateful little bitches too, so...
Oh, well, that goes without saying. That's just Nintendo fans in general, Craig.
That is, yes. Yeah.
Video game fans in general, really.
You've got my number. You're right.
I mean, I think that's totally understandable. I mean, after the backlash when Federation Force was announced, was it last year, 2 years ago? They showed that off and people said, Metroid Prime! And then they got pissed because it was a, multiplayer game made by Next Level.
That was a good game, though.
It was a good game, but that's not the point. The point is people got pissed.
That's true.
So I totally understand Nintendo wanting to at least make it known that this game exists, even if they don't have a whole lot to show.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But along with what you said, it totally does get people excited because, most of the people that own Switches right now are obviously big Nintendo fans, and Metroid Prime is a big thing. That was a huge thing on the GameCube, obviously, and I'm super excited just knowing it exists. So I'm excited to see more. Rocket League coming to Switch, which is obviously already available on Xbox and PS4, but you're going to be able to cross-platform play with Xbox and PC. They'll have all the downloadable content and all that stuff. You guys play this?
Yeah, I play on PS4.
Yeah, I'm intimidated by this game. I played the demo and I was really bad at it. So
I'm really bad at it too, but it's actually a lot of fun to play, even if you're bad at it. It's a really good game, and I'm glad that this is a good fit for Switch, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and the cross-platform play is awesome as well. It's good to see that the some publishers, cough, can work together to increase the player base.
Yeah, especially for a new platform like Switch. There's not a ton of people on it yet, and you don't know how long people are going to be playing Rocket League on it. So being able to play with other consoles is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I had wanted to check this out. I think it came out on PS Plus like right as my subscription had lapsed, so I missed out on it. But I'm definitely looking forward to checking this out on Switch. They showed off a new Kirby game and a new Yoshi game. Had some trailers, both coming next year.
Kirby looks cool. I like the combine ability that they got going, just like Crystal Shards, except it seems easier because you just use one of your little buddies to power up your whatever ability Kirby has. But I mean, it just looks like a Kirby game. Otherwise, there's not aside from that, there's not really anything remarkable going on there.
Yeah, that's kind of why I lumped them together. I mean, I'm not a big Kirby guy, but when I looked at it, it looks cool, but it looks like Kirby. So
yeah, same thing with Yoshi. Yeah, they look good, but not like remarkable or anything.
Yeah, they look fun, but I mean, I don't think they're going to be system sellers for anybody. Already owning a Switch, I'm like, yeah, I'll play Yoshi, I'll play Kirby, but not a whole lot to say about them, I don't think.
I do appreciate them as far as co-op games that go, because I do enjoy a good co-op game, so I'm glad that they're coming.
Oh yeah, definitely, and they're very pretty, and they look like they'll be fun. But
yeah,
not super excited, but like I'll check them out when they come out. They also announced that a mainline Pokemon game is coming for Switch.
Yay!
You guys, how much do you guys have to say about this?
I think that's just
tell me all about it.
Once again, I think that's just to appease people because of the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon announcement for 3DS, and then people are like, "Where the fuck's the Switch version?" So
yeah,
like,
and that was rumored for so long that was going to be ported to Switch. So
yeah,
it makes sense to say something, but no, not a whole lot for us to talk about because they just said that it's coming.
Yeah, I think it's a lot like Metroid Prime 4. It's just, keep that enthusiasm and momentum going.
Yeah, for sure. And the main focus of their E3 presence and a big focus in their press conference as well was Super Mario Odyssey, which looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Frog, you're the frog.
I may not have. It looked okay.
Was that someone's ringtone?
I had an alarm going off for some reason.
Time for the podcast to end. Thanks for the reminder, Seth.
I took a nap yesterday and I wanted to wake up at this time, and so that's what that was actually. Very professional podcast.
So naturally, you set the alarm for the next day.
No, it just auto did that. That was my bad.
Wake up, Seth.
I'm sorry.
It's awesome. You can throw your hat onto anything and become that thing, whether it's a frog or a dinosaur or a person or a car or whatever.
It's absolutely terrifying at the same time, too.
That's true.
Can I throw my hat on to somebody that my parents will love?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, just throw your hat on me.
Everybody loves you, Craig.
I know.
I think that was his point.
Yeah, no, I got it. Honestly, this game is not blowing me away. It looks really good. And,
really?
Yeah,
I'm surprised to hear this.
It looks good and competent, and I'm sure I'll love it, but there's just like not... It doesn't have like that thing that's just like super drawing me into it, It's not like the possessing items. It's just not doing it for me. That's like a thing that's Space Station Silicon Valley. I did that fucking millions of years ago.
Yeah, well, I don't think, they kind of showed that as like a big gameplay point, but my takeaway was that wasn't what wowed me, though. I guess for me, like that wasn't
what wowed you. That's the thing. I don't have that thing that wowed me in any way, shape,
literally
or form.
Everything. I think the style is hugely different. Just like the silliness, the music. Swapping to 2D Pixel Mario in the middle of a stage.
That was cool. I liked that part where, he's like running around the tower within 2D Mario part. That's the only thing that I was like impressed by.
Just play 2D Mario then, Seth.
Yep, I think I will. No, I'm going to be playing this game. I'm sure there's something in there. I just could not find it in any of the E3 stuff I saw. Like I said, I'm sure it'll be like a super fun and competent game. It just didn't have that one thing that's like grabs me and is going like, okay, this is the next big Mario,
I like how there's like a half second of silence and Seth is like, guys, stop ganging up on me.
You should be used to it by now.
Yeah, everybody gangs up on everybody. It's the Gang Up podcast. But no, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah. One of the things I think is really cool is that it looks like when you collect the moons, which seem to be like the stars, you don't get sent back to the beginning of the level. You can just collect them and then go on your way, kind of like in a Banjo-Kazooie where you collect a Jiggy, which is cool. Maybe not a huge game changer or anything, but I thought it was interesting.
That's definitely not the WoW thing that's grabbing me.
I wasn't looking to wow you, Seth. I was just explaining a cool thing.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Pauline's in it as the mayor of New Donk City for some reason.
Yeah, I was all like, hey, look, it's Pauline. Neat.
Didn't wow you.
Me. Didn't wow me. Okay.
We get it.
All right.
Did the amiibos wow you?
Actually, yeah, that Peach in the wedding dress amiibo is really cute.
That's what wows you.
That wowed me.
I love how your heart is getting icier and icier as the years go on. But you're like, Peach amiibo just thaws me out just enough.
She's adorable. She's at a wedding. It's great. Wait, are Mario and Peach getting married in this game?
I don't know, because Mario is dressed up too in his amiibo. So I don't know if they were going to get married and Bowser's like, just kidding, jerk, and then like steals her or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe Mario and Bowser were going to get married and Peach is all like, what the fuck?
There's some good fan fiction, though. I'm into
What's going
this.
on here? I'm writing that. That's gonna just be the next podcast, is me reading this fan fiction.
That's good. I'll read that.
Okay.
They showed off a little bit of the Zelda DLC. We had seen Master Trials, which is announced to be coming at the end of the month, which includes hard mode and the Trial of the Sword and some new costumes and stuff. And they also announced the title of the second piece of DLC, the story stuff, which is called The Champion's Ballad, coming this holiday season. And they showed off the amiibo of the 4 champions.
I hope you play as them.
I hope so, too.
Yeah, I really hope so. That'd be super cool.
I think what's interesting about this DLC is that the first pack is clearly stuff that's designed to augment the game that's already there. Like, almost like an exasperated kind of like, guys, we made a 300-hour game. We know you didn't play it all. Just get back in there. We gave you the map feature. Just gave you the Korok Masters. Get back in that game.
Yeah, get those 900 Korok seeds right now.
Yeah, and the second piece of DLC is like, genuinely fresh content. Which is, that's an interesting approach. I think that's okay. But I like to see more of the second pack. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, in the, towards the end of last year, there was that rumor that Zelda was going to get delayed until the summer. So, I mean, cynically, it's possible that the first DLC pack was supposed to be part of the initial game. But
entirely possible,
either way, I think that the second stuff is definitely much more exciting, and that's why people are mostly going to buy that season pass.
Yeah, because you can't get one without the other,
no,
right?
That's probably why they bundled them together, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to buy the season pass to get either one. So either way, I'll be getting both.
Absolutely.
And then getting into the 3DS stuff, we touched on it before, but there's a remake of Metroid 2 coming for 3DS, Metroid Samus Returns, made by Mercury Steam, which looks cool. I'm excited for this.
Looks good.
Now this game grabbed me. I immediately felt an affinity for this game.
Was there a wow factor?
There was. And you know what it was? It was really something really simple. It's when Samus had her feet planted on the ground and she rotated just her torso and arms backwards to shoot behind her. And I thought that was really cool and just made like the animation and everything. The animation in this game is top notch, like the way Samus just moves and everything. And that is what grabbed me towards the game.
Cool. I'm definitely excited for this. I was a big fan of, maybe not big fan of Metroid 2, but it's a good game, and I definitely think doing an update will be great. A lot of people should check that game out, should experience that game, and I think this will be a good way for people to do it.
Yeah, no, it was
it's coming very soon. It's coming in September, so
it was the first good Metroid game. And I will stand by that forever.
Yeah, the first one was not...
I will not argue with you.
The first one was not great.
No. And also, if you want to spend $10 more, you could get a CD in the special edition of the game.
I did that.
Yeah, me too. But I'm a sucker. So...
Oh, I am too.
Me too. And there are amiibos with a squishy Metroid.
Oh, yeah. I like the squishy Metroid amiibo.
Yeah. Samus is crouching like on the original Metroid 2 box.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of the amiibo racket. I'm not buying none of this shit.
Oh, good for you. I'm fully entrenched.
I probably have about 100 of them as it is, so I'm just... No.
I have all of them.
You're insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're his friends.
I have all...
I'd line them all up. We talk at night.
I have all the Zelda ones, and I have the 8-bit Mario, and I think that's all I have. I'll probably pick up this Metroid one, though. That squishy Metroid, I can't turn that down.
I think it's a 2-pack.
Yeah, it is a 2-pack. They showed off a remake of Superstar Saga, the first Mario and Luigi game for GBA.
They make it ugly as fuck.
Really? You think so?
What's that?
That's a weird... No, yeah.
You think so? I actually really like the style of the 3DS games.
I do not. No. The pixel art from the first 2 games is awesome. I love how elastic and colorful it is. This, I don't know what the fuck they did with these 3DS. I don't like the art style of those games.
I like both art styles, but I definitely prefer the older one. But yeah, nah, it just seems like such a weird remake to me because I mean they're still just making them as 2D games, so it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it looks different, but I imagine it plays very much the same. So I don't know why. It's. I kind of feel that I'm excited for this, but I kind of feel the way I do about the Shadow of the Colossus remake. It's going to play largely the same. So is it necessary? I don't know.
But it's got the Bowser's Minions portion.
Right, so that's true, which is supposed to be as long as the original game. A campaign where you play as a Captain Goomba, I believe.
Is it really supposed to be as long as the original game?
That's what they said. Yeah,
they said it's going to be long. Yeah.
So. Wow. I don't know if I want to play as a Goomba that long. It's going to have some really interesting gameplay in there for me to get through that.
Yeah, I think people were, this was one of those things that was leaked a while back, and I think some people were expecting this to be a digital game. So I think putting a bunch of extra content in there is going to try to appease people who maybe don't want to pay full price for it. But I mean, it looks like a full price game to me. I mean, it looks just as good as the other Mario and Luigi games, or as bad, depending on what you think.
It's bananas to me that this is turning into like one of Nintendo's longest franchises is the Mario and Luigi games. Because I thought it was going to be a one-off at first, and then the second game was awful, so I thought I was done there. But now they got like fucking 6, 7 of these. I don't even know anymore.
I'm fine with that.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, no, I'm not complaining. I just find it interesting. And that's all the games, right? There's no more, especially not made by Indie Zero.
There's a sushi puzzle game made by Indie Zero.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Explain the sushi game.
You sound as excited as the people in the Anthem trailer.
It's I don't know how to explain it. It's a sushi conveyor belt game, and you stack colored plates, and you attack another person who's doing the same thing. That's all I understand. It looks.
That makes no sense, but it sounds awesome.
Wait, that's not what you do at sushi restaurants already? Because I'm just flinging my plates at everybody.
It's a realistic sushi simulator.
Exactly. Sushi simulation game.
Anyway, it looks good. I think it looks fun.
It looks cool. Coming next year sometime. I am going to check that out.
Next year sometime? How long does this take to fucking develop? It looks like it's done.
They said, yeah.
Simulations take a lot of time to make.
They got to put all the sushi physics in there, I guess.
This is going to be the Gran Turismo of sushi games.
Going to customize the shit out of this sushi.
Oh, man, I can't wait. All right.
Yeah, no, it looks super cool. If you guys have anything else to touch on for E3, I'm open to it, but that's all I got.
No, not at all, especially since Craig keeps sending me angry messages saying that we're going too long.
We are. Yeah, no, we got to wrap this up. Actually, they're going to Chris, too. He's just probably ignoring them. We got to wrap it.
I saw them. I was just going to do what you said without responding.
Okay. No, I think it's funnier to bring it up, but that's the kind of person I am.
Yeah, Seth threw me under the bus is fine. We were going to do the mailbag this episode, but I think we got to skip it.
We're out of time, folks.
We're out of time. As a scheduling note, we won't be back for another month. You can blame Seth for that. This is a brand new bi-weekly podcast, and we'll see you July 15th, I think, is the next time. It's like launch a podcast and just go on hiatus. It's great. But
I asked ahead of time if this was okay.
You did, but I'm now throwing you under the bus. That's what's happening.
All right, that's fine.
You did kind of ask for this, Seth.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but really, since it's bi-weekly, we're only really missing like one episode. I mean, that's really not that bad anyway. July 15th, I think, is when we'll be back. And I just want to thank everyone for listening to the first episode. We got a really great response to that, and it's nice to come back after 2.5 years, and the seat is still warm for you. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that people out there still like us. I mean, a lot of the people that I'm friendly with on Twitter, came from when we first did the original incarnation of this podcast. So I'm glad they're still out there and still enjoy us.
Hell yeah!
I just crave attention.
Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. We actually are on there now. And if you could leave us a review in Apple Podcasts, that would be greatly appreciated. And thank you to the people who already have. That's awesome. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Ludowave Radio. In both cases, our theme song is composed exclusively for us by Morning Moon and Mercury. You can check out more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. You can find me, Craig, on Twitter and Instagram at TV and Lust in both cases. Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at echrisdunn. Seth?
And you can find me on Twitter at @hetnakick. There's an underscore in there somewhere.
You find it.
Yep.
Great. And we're out.
Bye.
Peace.